There are press conferences, and then there are times when you can see who should be in charge of a country and who shouldn't be asking them. Mark Carney came into a room full of reporters in Johannesburg today for the G20 conference, expecting a normal Q&A. Instead, what happened was a display of leadership, clarity, and patience until that patience ran out. Some reporters were stuck asking the same old, dumb questions about Donald Trump, while Carney was there to talk about global strategy, record trade growth, new partnerships, and Canada's growing power, things that Carney had already answered, and this is when things got interesting. Carney didn't become angry, Carney didn't become involved in politics, Carney didn't become upset, he did something far worse. He ended the whole Trump story with calm logic, a clear plan, and a tone that suggested, I'm running a country. I don't have time for this silly stuff. This wasn't just a meeting with the press. This was a reminder that Canada finally has a leader who doesn't merely deal with problems, he rises above them. Let's go over what happened step by step. Ashley Burke, Prime Minister, CBC News. Since the US stopped talking about trade with Canada, has Mr. Trump answered your calls, texts, or accepted your apology for the Ontario ad? When I talked to him, he said he was sorry. And we've talked about it. I've been busy. There is, however, another point. I've had a lot to do. We passed a budget that will lead to $1 trillion in investments. We have started new trade deals. We've gotten fresh investment in the country, probably more than ever before. So, we're busy. He has other things to do, yeah. And we'll get back to it when it's right. The press asks the Trump question immediately away, not because it's essential, but because it's simple. Has Donald Trump called you back? Carney's answer was calm, clear, and final. He agrees with the main point and then terminates the game with, I've been busy. At that point, the balance of power changed completely. It was evident what the message was. Canada isn't sitting by the phone. Canada is not following Trump's schedule. Carney has been doing the job that Canada has to undertake. When was the last time you talked to the president? And as you trade less with the US, what is your red line when it comes to dealing with other countries? What would make you not want to do business with another country, no matter how much money it has? Well, I believe let me answer the second half of question, which is that there are different levels of interaction with countries. For example, our connection with the European Union is stronger than any other jurisdiction because we share comparable principles, such as privacy. We both care about sustainability in the same way. When it comes to workers' rights, we have the same values. We also agree on Ukraine's territorial integrity. Our level of cooperation with the European Union and the United Kingdom is higher than our level of cooperation with other countries. So, not all relationships are the same. They don't have the same depth. And this is a crucial point. When we work with a country, Canada works with a country, that we agree with everything that country does. The two don't follow. We calibrate our relationship, but that doesn't mean we agree with everything that happens in the country, and the same goes for those countries to us. Next question. Who cares? It's only a little thing. It's a small thing. I talked to him. I'll talk to him again when it matters. I can't wait to talk to the president soon, but I don't have anything very important to talk to him about right now. When America wants to come back and talk about trade, we will talk about trade. The whole press conference changed right after the first question about Trump. Carney made it clear that even if reporters were telling the same story over and over, his government was actually doing the work, making deals, increasing trade, bringing in investment, and improving Canada's standing in the world. But reporters kept bringing him back to Trump over and over, and that's when Carney calmly and precisely put an end to the whole thing. He said that Canada has layered partnerships, true alliances with Europe and the UK, strategic ties with rising economies, and practical engagement with everyone else. A call from Washington doesn't affect any of this, but the questions kept flowing, and Carney finally put a halt to the farce. He said that the whole Trump thing was just a detail, not a priority or a crisis. Then he said the line that changed the balance of power. When the US is ready, Canada will talk to it. At that point, it was clear. Canada is no longer waiting for the US to provide its assent. There was no stress here. This was being a leader. A prime minister who won't let silly questions get in the way of making decisions that will affect Canada's future. This year's G20 meeting brought together countries that make up 3/4 of the world's population, 2/3 of its GDP, and 3/4 of its commerce. And that's without the US officially being there. It reminds us that the world's economy is changing. The last 100 years were all about concentrating capital, productivity, and power. The next one will be marked by the spread of technology, energy and power, as well as the rising of the global south and new roles for middle powers like Canada in multilateral agreements that benefit everyone. Our job is to make sure that Canada not only survives this change, but also thrives because of it. That means we need a new plan for the economy. It's why Canada is making new partnerships with new partners, expanding our trade, and bringing billions of dollars of fresh investment into our country. Canada met with the EU and Vietnam yesterday. We talked about how to better connect the CPTPP and the EU with Vietnam, which is set to become the next chair of the CPTPP Trade Pact. Connecting these two of the world's biggest trading blocs, which together represent more than 1 billion people, would boost commerce, encourage investment, and create more collaborations in a wide range of fields, from AI to energy, in the Indo-Pacific, Europe, and of course, Canada. In the coming months, our top officials will meet with the goal of getting real results in this new bloc by early next year. Carney then put the whole room into global mode. He talked about how the center of gravity in the world is shifting, how new power blocks are forming, and how countries that change now will be in charge for the next 10 years. And he made it clear that Canada wants to be one of them. He said that Canada was going to have a new footing in Africa by opening a key office in Cape Town, which is in one of the world's fastest-growing economic regions. He then went right into Canada's vital mineral strategy, which is the foundation of future technologies. He talked about how Canada is putting itself at the core of the clean tech and AI supply chain, but the biggest news came when he talked about his early efforts on connecting the EU and the TPP into one huge economic corridor. That's not how to be diplomatic. That's architecture from throughout the world. That's a country that is making the trade map for the future, not reacting to it. He then made a big promise to improve global health, showing that Canada is not just acting for economic reasons, but also for moral ones, taking on a leadership role that the world has been missing. And he brought it all together with one idea that guides all of his foreign policy. Canada is going from being dependent to being strong. New markets, new partnerships, and more freedom. It was the clearest indicator yet that Carney is not simply taking part in global transformation, he's making it happen. Our new administration is striving to make Canada stronger at home and abroad by constructing a wide and dense network of new alliances and creating new economic opportunities. This will help Canada shift from reliance to resilience. We are creating huge trade and transportation networks in Canada while we strengthen our commercial ties with trustworthy partners. We're making new deals and getting new investors to help us reach our goals and Canada's economic goals. Earlier this week, I went to the United Arab Emirates to meet with the heads of the biggest sovereign wealth funds and CEOs to get them to invest in Canada. We struck an agreement to preserve our investments, and we started talks on a new, broad economic relationship. At the end of my tour, I was happy that the UAE had decided to put $70 billion into Canada. This strong vote of confidence in our economy is one of the biggest foreign direct investments in Canada's history. It will create high-paying jobs all around the nation in fields like energy, agriculture, and artificial intelligence. In less than 6 months, we've launched almost a dozen new partnerships for security and the economy on 4 continents. We inked a new deal with Sweden on Monday to work together more on trade, investment, and new ideas. We've made deals with Germany on important minerals, the European Union on commerce and defense, and Chile on technology. We signed a new trade deal and economic collaboration with Indonesia. We started talks with Thailand and the Philippines on free trade. At the same time, we sped up our work to finish our free trade deal with the ASEAN countries over the next year. That's 20% of the world's GDP. And then came the moment that brought everything together, the news that Canada's worldwide reach has grown even further. Carney explained the full extent of Canada's unprecedented international deal-making, starting with the shocking headline that shocked the globe. The UAE is putting $70 billion into Canada, not as a gift, but as a sign of confidence, a bet on Canada's long-term stability, strategy, and strength. After that, he went on and on about partnerships. Germany, Chile, Indonesia, ASEAN, Sweden, and Europe are all examples of countries that are no longer pursuing possibilities but are instead inviting them. Canada is negotiating deals on every continent, opening up new trade channels, getting into new markets, and gaining power in every major region. There was one thing that was very evident during this latter part of the news conference. Canada is becoming a worldwide center, a country that people want to cooperate with. And Carney is the one who made that happen. What we see now isn't Carney defending himself. Carney was the one who decided Canada's future, a future where we don't have to wait for America, a time when we make our own partnerships, a future when people respect our leaders and don't challenge them, a future where Canada is a world power not by chance, but by choice. Carney entered Johannesburg as the Prime Minister. He left as a strategist who would shape the next chapter of the world. Patreon is now live for Canada today. You can help independent Canadian journalism by paying only $3 a month. You will also gain access to exclusive, uncensored information that we couldn't always share here. In the video's description, there is a link to Canada Today's Patreon page. If you want more in-depth analysis like this, be sure to sign up for Canada Today. Thanks for viewing, and I'll see you in the future video.